The Harley rumbled beneath him, a steel stallion eating up the miles. His name was Brick, a fitting moniker. 6'8", 350 pounds of muscle and ink, a walking, talking tattoo of a life lived hard and fast. He'd left California 4 days ago, heading east. No destination, just the horizon. The desert wind whipped at his long dark hair, tugged at his leather vest. He grinned, baring teeth white against his tanned face. Freedom. That's what this ride was about. Leaving behind the ghosts, the regrets, starting fresh. He stopped at a roadside diner in Arizona, the kind of place time forgot. The air hung heavy with the smell of coffee and frying bacon. A jukebox in the corner crooned a forgotten country song. He ordered a coffee and a stack of pancakes. The waitress's eyes widening slightly at the sight of him, he just winked. He finished his meal, leaving a $5 tip on the counter. Time to move on. As he climbed back on his Harley, he noticed a group of men watching him from a beat-up pickup truck. They looked rough, mean. He met their gaze in the reflection of his side mirror, a silent challenge passing between them. Then he gunned the engine and roared back onto the highway, leaving the dust swirling in his wake. He pushed on until nightfall, the endless ribbon of asphalt stretching before him like a dark promise. The air grew colder, biting at his exposed skin. He finally pulled into a motel, a neon sign buzzing with the promise of cheap rooms and hot showers. The room was small, dingy, but it had a bed and a roof. It would do. He stripped off his clothes, his body aching from the long ride. He stood under the shower head, letting the hot water sluice away the grime and fatigue. He woke up in the middle of the night, his heart pounding. He'd had a nightmare, vivid and unsettling. He was back in that diner, but everything was distorted, wrong. The waitress had eyes like black marbles, her smile a grotesque parody of warmth. The men in the pickup truck were there too, their faces hidden in the shadows, their eyes glowing with an eerie light. He shook his head, trying to dispel the lingering unease. It was just a dream, fueled by too much coffee and the isolation of the road. He lay back down, but sleep wouldn't come. He felt a strange coldness creep into his bones, a deep, unsettling chill that had nothing to do with the night air. He woke again at dawn, his head throbbing, his body racked with chills. He stumbled to the bathroom, his reflection in the mirror a stranger. His face was pale, his eyes bloodshot. He touched his forehead, his skin burning with fever. Panic welled up inside him. He hadn't been sick in years. He just needed to get back on the road, get some fresh air. He packed his meager belongings, his movements sluggish, every muscle screaming in protest. He managed to make it to his bike, the world swaying around him. He fumbled with the keys, his hands shaking. He needed help. He had to get to a hospital. He swung his leg over the Harley, his vision blurring at the edges. He didn't even make it out of the parking lot. The world dissolved into a dizzying kaleidoscope of light and shadow. The last thing he remembered was the searing heat of the asphalt as he crashed to the ground.